The name of his book is The End of Mental Illness: How Neuroscience is Transforming Psychiatry and Helping Prevent or Reverse Mood and Anxiety Disorders, ADHD, addictions, PTSD, psychosis, personality disorders, and more. But the main title is The End of Mental Illness. That is a provocative title. You're not mincing words there. What do you mean by the end of mental illness?
I hate the term mental illness. I've been a psychiatrist 40 years now, and I've always hated it because it shames people. It's stigmatizing. When you call someone mental, that's not a good thing. And it's wrong. Based on our database of now 160,000 scans on people from 150 countries, we've really come to believe that most psychiatric problems are not mental health issues at all. Rather, they are brain health issues that steal your mind. And this one idea really changes everything. Get your brain right, get the physical functioning of your brain right, and then your mind is better because the brain creates the mind. And very few people are talking about the impact of traumatic brain injury on mental health challenges, on a bad diet, on hypertension, diabetes, mold exposure. And we need to stop what we're doing because it's not working. Tom Insel, director of the National Institute of Mental Health, said outcomes in psychiatry are no better than they were in the 1950s. And that should horrify us. And I believe what we need to do is change the paradigm. Now, it doesn't mean psychology and psychotherapy is not important. Of course it is. But I think of it as optimize the hardware of your soul, your brain, and then program it. But too often people try to program it. And when the hardware is not working right, they become demoralized, they become depressed, and they stop seeking help. So we need a new paradigm. That's the idea behind the end of mental illness.
To be clear, and I want people to understand this fully and completely, and so I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute. And I am playing devil's advocate because because of conversations you and I have had both on and off camera, that I agree with what you're saying. But to play devil's advocate and ask a few questions, you're not saying that if somebody is showing what we now call schizophrenic behavior patterns or depression or panic disorders or anxiety or whatever, that's not real, that those are not real disorders, that people aren't really having disrupted lives from schizophrenia or depression or whatever. You're not saying that those are not real disorders, correct?
Correct. They're completely real. But being schizophrenic or being depressed doesn't tell you one thing about why you're schizophrenic or why you're depressed. Think about it. Lincoln, and I'm a huge Lincoln fan, had severe depression during his life. He was actually suicidal in the winter of 1840. And how did his doctor diagnose him? So his doctor was Anson Henry. He talked to him. He looked at him. He looked for symptom clusters and then diagnosed and treated him. That's exactly how depression is being diagnosed today. Depression is a symptom like chest pain with many different causes. And if we don't understand what's causing it, that's why at Amen Clinics, we look at the brain. How do I know? Does your brain work too hard or not hard enough? Is it toxic or traumatic? That we really need to change how we approach these things. It's not that bipolar disorder is not real. It's totally real and will ruin your life if you don't treat it properly. But we're not talking about why do you have it? And oh, by the way, if we get your brain right, your medication is going to work so much better.